What is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And today, I want to talk about something that is kind of deared into my soul. And I've kind of alluded to it on Beast Picks for a long time. And I want to talk about this great head coach that is being so bastardized by the media. I want to talk about Mike Tomlin. I want to talk about kind of Aaron Rodgers too, because Aaron Rodgers kind of equates into the story as well. Because obviously you guys know I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. So I want to talk about this because I am so sick and freaking tired of hearing, oh, Mike Tomlin has to go. Oh, Mike Tomlin has to go to TV. Oh, Mike Tomlin has to go to college. Oh, Mike Tomlin needs to be traded to another team, get a fresh start for head coach. You people that are doing that are fucking stupid. Like, I'm just going to say it right now. I've had enough of this. I've had enough. Like, the media is already speculating again after Mike Tomlin has said numerous times he is not going anywhere. You still continue with the bullshit. Okay? You still continue to clamor on that he has to go somewhere. First of all, the Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. Okay? Chuck Noll and Bill Cowher both retired as Steeler head coaches once they were hired. They kept going until they decided to retire. And guess what? Guess what? Tomlin haters, Steeler haters of Tomlin, guess what? Mike Tomlin's going to get that too. He's going to be your head coach until he retires, until he wants to go, okay? And leave the gridiron. Facts. Facts on facts. And he deserves that privilege because Mike Tomlin is one of the best NFL today. Period. End of story. Y'all underutilizing, oh, well, he hasn't won a playoff game since 207. A man who wins every fucking season. This man has never had a losing season as in the 19 years he's been a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Not one time he has been below 500. Okay? Would you rather have a guy who gets you or almost gets you to the playoffs every year and has sturdability and has players go to bat for him every single day? I can tell you right now that everybody in that locker room would go for the walls for Mike Tomlin because that's how much of a player's coach Mike Tomlin is, okay? He's no bullshit. He calls things out when he wants to. You know, like the Aaron Berry trade, you know, in division, he called it out. I have no problem with it. He'll go and walk away from the media after a stupid question. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's not afraid because he's a player's coach. He goes balls to the walls for that team. And that's why every player that plays for Mike Tomlin likes that guy. Okay? He gets the best out of his players. Even when after Ben left, Big Ben Roethlisberger left and retired, okay? He's had mediocre quarterbacks until this year, okay? He has had quarterbacks that are at the end of the hill. He has had journeyman quarterbacks, backups that shouldn't be starters, okay? And he wins with them. He wins with these guys. So how does that make Mike Tomlin a bad coach? That he is able to do something that other head coaches can't do. Would you rather have a dumpster fire every year like the New York Jets are going through, where they're having to freaking have new coaches every year? Same with the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, since firing John Gruden, or him resigning or whatever in the middle of the 2001 season, when he was forced out because of the leaks, right? From the Washington emails, right? He was forced out. They've had so many different head coaching changes, right? And yet Mark Davis is going to be on the hook for $50 million in salaries alone from those head coaching hires, okay, that failed. Would you rather have a dumpster fire like that than actually have somebody that actually goes balls to the wall for his team and his players? Balls to the wall for his players and has sturdability to the organization? Y'all are dumb. You all do not appreciate what you have in Mike Tomlin. To the people that chanted, fire Mike Tomlin. I'm a Packers fan, okay? And, because I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. We'll get to that in a sec. But the fact that you all chanted that a couple of weeks ago, you should just give over your steel curtain license at this point. Because this guy goes to bat for that team. I guarantee you there is not a single person on that Steelers team that genuinely would want him gone. Okay? Now I know there's the whole bullshit, where the players have to pretend they like the coach, like Kevin Stefanski, for example. But with Mike Tomlin, I believe that every player on that Steelers team genuinely loves Mike Tomlin as a head coach. Okay? You want to know why Mike Tomlin got Aaron Rodgers? You want to know why he got Aaron Rodgers? Now, we'll get to the Aaron Rodgers perspective on this, too. But you want to know why he wanted Aaron Rodgers and not Justin Fields and Russell Wilson? You want to know why? Because he knew Aaron Rodgers still had something in the tank. He knew Aaron Rodgers could throw the ball, despite the dumpster fire that he had with the New York Jets, which was proven without a shadow of a doubt that it was a Jet problem, not an Aaron Rodgers problem. Okay? As they had a worse record than Aaron Rodgers had with them last year. Mike Tomlin could see that Aaron Rodgers could still throw the ball. He could still throw the ball on a dime. And that's why Mike Tomlin wanted Aaron Rodgers. Because he can continuously make these mediocre quarterbacks and these over-the-hill quarterbacks win him games. But at the end of the day, he still wants a sturdy quarterback. And he's got it with Aaron Rodgers. And I would not be surprised that he re-signs Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers wants to come back for another year. I guarantee you Mike Tomlin openly, he didn't draft a quarterback this offseason. He waited for Aaron Rodgers to sign him. So much that they didn't even bother drafting a quarterback. That's how confident Mike Tomlin was, because they didn't sign him until after the draft. Okay, this year. So that's how confident Mike Tomlin was in getting Aaron Rodgers. Okay? To all the fans, there were Steeler fans that believed that they should have re-signed Justin Fields. To you, how do you look now, Steeler fans? The Steeler fans, I want to talk to the Steeler fans that thought they should re-sign Justin Fields. How do you feel now? How do you feel now knowing that Justin Fields signed a $40 million 2-year contract with the New York Jets and was benched by week 11 because he sucked as a quarterback? Okay? Mike Tomlin would have listened to you, he would have had a losing season for the first time ever. But he went with his gut and signed Aaron Rodgers, and they won a division title. Okay? Yes, there were a couple of bumps in the road. Came down to a field goal miss, but at the same time, the Steelers kicker missed an extra point. So, Of course, I'm sure you're going to blame Mike Tomlin for that one too, right? But again, this is the point I'm trying to get at. You all freaking thought Justin Fields was a good quarterback, and he wasn't. I told you guys, I said at the beginning of the season that I didn't think Justin Fields was a good quarterback. He sucked. He barely could throw the ball. He was under 100 yards most of the time this season, okay, of passing. He's probably not going to be on the Jets next year. They're probably going to cut him after only 1 year of having a 2-year contract, okay? There's a reason why Mike Tomlin named Russell Wilson the starting quarterback last year, even though he got injured and missed the first 6 weeks, and they had to turn to Justin Fields for those first 6 weeks, and Justin Fields got them to a 4-2 record or whatever it was. When Russell Wilson was ready to go, he didn't go with the hot hand. He went with Russell Wilson because he knew, even though Russell Wilson was towards the end of his career, because he isn't that good of a quarterback anymore, but even though he isn't as good as he used to be, he was still better than Justin Fields. And Mike Tomlin knew that. If Mike Tomlin gives up on you as a quarterback, you should find a new occupation, because Mike Tomlin proved to be right about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not a franchise quarterback. And it's not like, some people are like, well, with all these winning records that we have, we'll never have a chance to draft a franchise quarterback in the draft. Newsflash, guys, a few years ago, they did try to draft a franchise quarterback. His name was Kenny Pickens, Pittsburgh native. That didn't turn out that well, and they traded up for that. Okay? Didn't turn out that well. So it's not like they didn't try. All right? And hopefully eventually they will get one. But right now they got Aaron, and I think whether they win or lose this game against the Texans, because I think they're already writing the Texans as the winner because of their defense, I wouldn't say so fast on that one, because the Colts' third-string quarterback carved them up in Week 18 when they were playing their starters, by the way, because they still had a chance to win their division. I wouldn't be so suggestive to say that the Texans automatically are going to win this game, especially since the Steelers are getting the home game, which will give them somewhat of an advantage. And also, by the way, now I know Monday Night Football never really had a playoff game until about 5 years ago, but since Chuck Noll, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not lost the Monday Night Football game at home since the Chuck Noll era. So the entire Bill Cowher era, the entire Mike Tomlin era up to this point, the Steelers have never lost a home game on Monday night. And again, this is a playoff game. They've only done playoff game Monday Night Football games for the past 5 years. So obviously I know the statistic isn't that alarming, since Monday Night Football wasn't done in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But again, that is a pretty good statistical odd for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just putting that out there. But I want to get to the Aaron Rodgers side of this, because Aaron Rodgers admired Mike Tomlin. He beat him in the Super Bowl to win his Super Bowl for my Packers, by the way. But there's a reason why Aaron Rodgers wanted Mike Tomlin, because he knew he was a player's coach. And he's like, besides the fact that I think that was the only team that did want him, but Aaron, coach like every player does on that team. Rodgers there just to basically tell him that we're going in a different direction. When he could have just literally just called him to do that. Right? So there's a dumpster fire right there. Aaron Rodgers for Justin Fields. And guess what? Justin Fields was terrible. Aaron Rodgers was amazing. Oh, and by the way, Aaron Glenn created a historical statistic that is an entire defense on an entire calendar regular season game since 1933, when interceptions became an official recorded sack in the NFL, or stat in the NFL. has never not had an interception on the defense in an entire season. And keep in mind, this is 17 games. Exception. That's how pathetic they are. Aaron Glenn should be fired. I am sorry. I don't like to advocate for people getting fired, but the fact that Pete Carroll, who has the same record that the Jets had, he got fired after one season. He's a Super Bowl winning coach, might I add. All right, the fact that he got fired after one season because of how terrible the Raiders are as a dumpster fire, okay? The fact that Aaron Glenn is going to get another goddamn chance as a fucking head coach is fucking embarrassing. All right? Not one interception on the defense. That guy is a defensive guy, and he couldn't get a damn interception. His defense couldn't get a damn interception. 1933. 1933. There has never been calendar regular season in NFL history that not one defense can get an interception in a calendar season. That is pathetic. This guy should be fired. He casted out Aaron Rodgers. He flew Aaron Rodgers for no goddamn reason when he could just talk to him over the phone. He fucking dumpster fired that team. He signed fucking Justin Fields, and Justin Fields sucked. Like Mike Tomlin proved, freaking same record as Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll gets fired as a Super Bowl winning head coach, and Aaron Glenn gets to stay around. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm sorry for cursing, but that just pisses me off that he gets another chance. It really does. It really does. Because it's like, why does he deserve it after not recording an interception an entire season? An entire season. We're talking 1933 when interceptions were recorded as an official stat. Okay? 1933, man. The United States was in a Great Depression in 1933. That's how long. We don't know the first 10 years before that because obviously the league started in 1920, but when they started recording interceptions as a stat in 1933. You know, we're not even talking about the Super Bowl era. We're not even talking about the Super Bowl era. We're talking about the Stone Age era of the NFL. That this has never happened. And again, they had 17 games. We're not talking about 12 games like in, before 1960. We're not talking about 14 games after 1960. We're not talking about 16 games in 2021. Okay? After 2021. That is pathetic. Pathetic. The Jets should be ashamed of themselves keeping this guy as a head coach. When you see guys like Pete Carroll getting fired, who has a Super Bowl winning resume, and getting fired with only 3 wins. Okay? And yes, I know Pete Carroll didn't really help matters, but he didn't really have a quarterback. I mean, he did bet on Geno Smith. Didn't work out. But again, there were other problems besides the quarterback position in that, which were beyond his control. But yeah, I mean, that's my rant, man. I'm just so sick of this, man. I'm sick of seeing this. And again, I'm a Packers fan, but I like Mike Tomlin. There are coaches I admire, even if they're not on my team. This is the man, one of them. Mike Tomlin is probably one of my favorite non-Packers Packers coaches because of his resiliency. He always wins. He has sturdability to the team. He gets the best out of the players. If you give him a quarterback, if you give this man a quarterback every year, he can win. They can win. if he had, and even, I don't think they have necessarily the best receiving core. Obviously, they have DK Metcalf, but he was out for 2 weeks because of him being stupid and, hitting a fan. But, they're going to have them in the play. They're going to have him in the playoff. The 2-game suspension's over. He's going to be in the playoff game. And so that's going to help, especially against the Texans defense. So that's what I'm saying. They're going to probably be a lot better in this game than they were against the Ravens. But yeah, man, that's what I got to say. This is my rant, man, on this. I like Mike Tomlin. He'll be a Steeler head coach next year. He'll be a Steeler coach until he retires, whether people like it or not. They should like it, but of course, it's the Andy Reid syndrome, like in Philly, which is really weird because in Philly he never won a Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin did, but it was just Bill Cowher's players, that's how it is, That's how it is. Oh, it was Bill Cowher's players, even though Bill Cowher went 8-8 the next year after winning the Super Bowl. Just like how I guess Tony Dungy shouldn't be considered a Super Bowl winning coach either because he had Jim Mora's players, right? Or maybe John Gruden didn't win the Super Bowl because it was Tony Dungy's defense, even though Tony Dungy had a horrible offense for Tampa Bay, which is why they could never win a Super Bowl in the first place. I mean, this is the whole stupid. I hate when people say that too. It's like, oh well, that coach only won with the other coach's players. I always hate that because it's like the reason why they made the change was because that guy couldn't get them over the hump. The reason why Gruden won Super Bowl 37 was because he was able to put in a good enough offense with the defense to win it, which Tony Dungy couldn't do. Okay? The reason why Tony Dungy's Colt team won in 2006 was because he had an offense that he inherited, but was able to keep everything the same and then focus on the defense and have them step up in the playoffs and stopping the run because they weren't stopping the run in the regular season. And they managed to win. Mike Tomlin had to regenerate that Steelers team that won the Super Bowl in 2005 and get them ready for then because there were some new players that were on the team by that point. It wasn't just all of Bill Cowher's players. Okay? So again, it's stupid. It's just stupid. I just hate the whole idea of, oh, well, they only won because the other guys, players or whatever. It's just so stupid, man. It's so dumb. But of course, you're gonna hear that narrative all the fucking time. But and again, I obviously I'm pulling for my Packers to beat the Bears. I hope we smack the Bears really badly. But I'm really pulling for Aaron Rodgers. I'm really pulling for Mike Tomlin. I'm really pulling for the Steelers in the AFC to win the game against the Texans. I really am. I hope they win. I hope Tomlin gets the playoff game victory for the first time since 2016 because, that's the thing that everyone keeps, getting on his ass about. I hope he does win that playoff game. Not that he really needs it, because he's Hall of Fame head coach, in my opinion. But I just sick of the media saying that. Of course, the media will get on his ass about something else if he does win the playoff game. If he gets knocked out in round 2 or whatever, they'll get on his ass about something else. But I'm really just sick of the whole he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016 narrative. I'm just getting fucking sick of it. So I really hope he does win next Monday. But yeah, that's what I got to say. That's my rant on this. Mike Tomlin's great head coach. Screw the haters. That's it, guys. Comment, rate, flex, please subscribe, hit the notification bell for the latest contents. Thank you. And that is about it, guys. I am the S Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace. Also, make sure my YouTube channel, follow me on the Twitch, the Instagram, and I do have a Discord link in the description where we discuss various topics, including this one here. And now I'm out. Peace.